Hey folks, welcome to B5 Bricks. Hope you're all well. In today's video, this is the first in a series of Friends Girls on a Mission character videos, as at the time of recording this, it's getting near to the release of Season 4 of Friends Girls on a Mission. This is quite exciting, and perhaps, like us, you might revisit the old episodes and rewatch them, or indeed you may be watching them for the first time. So the purpose of this video is for new fans, or if you're a bit like me and you lose track of who's who and what's going on, then this is the video for you. I'm going to run through who the main cast is, what the relationship is to one another, and what they do in Heartlake City. So when Season 4 lands, you're all up to date on who everyone is and how they know each other. Before that, I'll talk about what LEGO Friends is all about for those who are just discovering it, but if you just want to go straight to the characters, then skip along to the timecode highlighted in the description. Now, if you're not familiar, LEGO launched the range back in 2012, initially designed to appeal to girls, with mini dolls replacing the usual minifigures in the set. They have a bit more detail and realism, and a big focus of Friends is bright colours and animals. Oh my goodness, lots of animals. LEGO Group's official descriptions say they are aged between 15 and 17 and they do attend high school together, but they also have part-time jobs. Most of them can drive and even pilot other vehicles too. The characters and the show revolve around Heartlake City, which does indeed have a lake in the shape of a heart in its main park in the city. The city itself has a mix of architectural styles and is deliberately vague on its location. There's skyscrapers, but also very European and Oriental buildings too. And in its immediate environment, there's jungle, beaches, forest and mountains. So you certainly can't say it's in a particular country or continent. And of course, that's a deliberate choice to make it appeal worldwide. LEGO have built this world and the characters to have no nationalities. They do all have very generic Americanized accents, but the characters themselves are supposed to represent regions of the world rather than nations, and the focus is more on personality traits and their likes and dislikes that we can relate to. The first 4 animated series were in 2013, 2014, 2015 and 2017, and it had the girls go on various adventures in 22-minute long episodes. These early series weren't that good in my opinion. They were too slow and the character design looked a bit odd and unhuman, with weird proportions a bit too similar to the mini dolls. Girls on a Mission, however, is far superior to the previous shows, starting in 2018, with much better animation, better scripts and characters too. They also redesigned the shape of the characters and made them less doll-like, and they have much more character and expression in the faces. Olivia's design was also significantly changed to give a bit more diversity, and they also have included a few villains like Carter Green, Ricky and Joey. There's also the sometime evil scientist / businesswoman, Dr. Alva, and a few other crooks along the way. Olivia has also invented 3 robots, Zobo, Zoe and the baby robot Zobito, with Zobo featuring in a lot of episodes. Compared to the previous iterations of the animated series, this is arguably the most successful and actually has a bit more in terms of action and consequences. The shorter runtime of 11 minutes also makes for better episodes with a faster pace. For the songs, which are very important for the show features the excellent voice talents of Jasmine Elcock. Jasmine shot to fame on Britain's Got Talent a few years ago and does a lot of work for the Disney Channel. Anytime any character sings in the show, it's Jasmine and not the voice artists. The show is produced and animated by M2 Entertainment in Thailand, who do a lot of work for LEGO. And of course, LEGO Group worked very closely with the production and they designed the plot of the episodes to incorporate that year's theme of sets and ensure that most of the key sets from that year are featured in at least one episode. I mean, don't forget, this show exists basically as an advertisement for the LEGO products. That's why the girls seem to have new vehicles and locations all the time, but the show has a much larger following than LEGO perhaps ever expected, and has actually morphed into a major syndicated kids TV show with a lot of attention paid by fans to what happens to the characters. So in this video we're covering the 5 main characters, the girls, who appear in every episode, and we'll also discuss their parents and siblings and any romantic interests. Let's start with Emma, who is voiced by Faye Mata. She is the optimistic artist, and I would say Emma is our household's favourite character, and I would argue she's probably one of the most popular characters overall. She has black hair and brown eyes, and she represents people of East Asian origin. She has a pet cat called Chico, and her mum is June, who works as an engineer, and Robert is her stepdad. He's a chef who has a food truck, and he's in the band with all the dads called Rad Dads. She has a wee brother Henry and a wee sister Sophie, and she is romantically involved with Ethan, who is also known as Pranksy, who is a graffiti artist whose name is actually a homage to Banksy, the world famous street artist from England. Ethan also works at the Drifting Diner, which is owned by his gran, although his passion is really art, and he's also a campaigner against Dr. Alva. He doesn't get on with Olivia at all, and he has a bit of a rivalry with River, which we see in the episode Save the Bay. Although it's not a fierce rivalry, Ethan essentially makes it clear to River he's keen on Emma. Anyway, back to Emma. She is often shown doing artistic things like painting murals in the city, making videos, and she likes fashion and clothes. And in the LEGO range itself, she has featured as a dress designer, painter, and fashion store owner. She's also a bit ditzy and cares more about having fun than winning. And we reckon that's why she has so much appeal, as she's not super competitive like the other characters, and she's just easygoing and nice to get along with. Next up, it's Andrea, voiced by Jasmine St. Clair. She is the outgoing, extroverted musician, and Andrea has dark brown hair, and she represents people of African origin. Her mom is Donna, who is the main veterinarian in the city, who has an animal clinic. She's also a helicopter pilot. Martin is her dad, and he owns the scuba dive shop and training centre on Heartlake Beach. He's also a scuba dive instructor, and they also own a diving boat. Andrea also has a wee sister called Liz, who we see in a few episodes, and she has a pet parrot called Pepper, and she works at Hazel's fashion store in Heartlake City. Andrea is full on the performer of the group. She's super talented at singing, playing instruments, performing in plays, and this is in part due to her dad also being a theatre director. She likes to be at the centre of attention and gets annoyed when others are better than her. She also likes costume design and has made costumes and props in various episodes. She sometimes has a bit of self-doubt and anxiety about her abilities, and this is a good aspect of her character to portray, as she inevitably overcomes these issues and rises to the challenge, which is an important attribute for kids to see. Next, it's Olivia, voiced by Amaya Harrow. Olivia is the self-sufficient inventor. She represents people from Central and South America. She has brown hair, which is almost always in a plait or a braid, and the only character to wear glasses most of the time. Her mum is called Laura, and she is a police officer in the Mounted Horse Division of Heartlake City. Her horse is called Barney. He's quite a funny horse who comes in the house and all sorts. And Laura is in the show quite a bit, and we see her arresting various villains like Carter Green, Dr. Alva, and Joey and Ricky. Olivia's dad is Lucas. He's a famous astronaut, and sadly he left family to train in space when Olivia was 9 and he and Laura divorced. He has a new fiancée and a son, and has recently come back into Olivia's life after staying away for a few years, and he used to be in the Rad Dads band. Anyway, back to Olivia. She has a pet hamster called Rumble, and in previous versions of the show she had a love interest called Jacob, but that's not the case in Girls on a Mission. So far she doesn't have any relationship, although she did go to the dance with her lab partner, so who knows what happens in season 4 with that. Olivia is pretty much portrayed as a science genius and inventor, and in lots of episodes she'll build a robot or create some kind of technological solution to fix a problem for the girls. She also teaches a junior science club at the resort in the city, and she eventually gains an academic scholarship working with Dr. Alva. As I said, her skills with inventing, using machines and coming up with plans are usually pretty key to the plot, and her character is often instrumental in solving many problems. Next up is Stephanie, voiced by Kira Buckland, and she is the overachieving, athletic and highly competitive member of the group who is a bit of a perfectionist. She has blonde hair, blue eyes and represents people from North America. She has a pet dog named Dash, and her mum is Alicia. We don't know much about her. She's a really nice mum though, who seems very supportive of Stephanie, and she's always seen egging her on to do well. Stephanie's dad is James, and he's a sports agent for athletes and that, and he also owns the Heartlake City sports store and the bowling alley. And we've seen her older sister Roxy in a few episodes. She's in her 20s and is at law school, but she's also dead good at singing and acting, and she has the lead part in the Heartmore stage show in one of the episodes. Stephanie also has a younger brother called Mason, who isn't in the show, but he features in the Lego sets. He's a lifeguard, so he must be a similar age. Anyway, Stephanie tends to be the one who takes control, and I would say she's kind of the leader of the group. If there's a trophy involved or a prize to be won, then she wants to win it. She's highly competitive and has a real talent for sports. She also teaches swimming at Heartlake Pool, and she's also a lifeguard. In any episode where there's some exercise or sport or whatever, she's always the one to coach the other girls, give them motivation and train them. And in season 2, we see her get a job as an intern working for Steve, who works for Heartlake City Council. Next up, it's Mia, voiced by Allegra Clark. Mia is the no-nonsense nature lover who loves the outdoors and horses. She has red ginger hair and green eyes. Her mum is Anne, who is a wildlife photographer, and her dad is Angus. He's a park ranger, and he's also in the Rad Dads band. And her brother is Daniel. He's at college. We see him in a few episodes when he goes to uni, and Mia is sad to see him go. Mia represents people of European descent, and I would argue she's probably Scottish if her dad's called Angus and she's ginger. But no, they don't have nationalities as we know. She has a horse called Bella, and she's a skilled rider. She also has 2 pet rabbits called Twister and Mimi. Mia is always out adventuring, she loves animals, being outdoors, and she likes diving too. She's also shown to be good at racing and driving in general, and she's similarly competitive like Stephanie. She also really doesn't like to do performances or singing. Most of her storylines revolve around exploring, being in the wilderness, and rescuing animals. She has a job with Andrea's mum Donna as her assistant in the Heartlake Rescue Clinic, where they help rescued animals. And weirdly, she also pilots the rescue clinic's submarine, which means she's a qualified submarine pilot, so I guess she can do that. She's also a bit of a mechanic, as we see her fixing her car and other vehicles in various episodes. Mia tends to doubt herself and tries to overcome her lack of confidence. She often tells jokes and is a bit sarcastic. She has feelings for River, but she's a bit hopeless getting this across, and probably the most significant episode covering this is episode 10 in series 3. We see she isn't so keen on going to the big dance, as she doesn't want to wear a dress and be seen like that, but she loves him. And in this episode she gets very upset when all the attention is on her, the spotlight's on her, and she runs off without finishing the dance with River. But this is all solved when River follows her back and they finish their dance. We reckon series 4 will confirm this relationship a bit more and develop Mia's character a bit, showing her overcoming her self-conscious feelings, which is a great message for young fans to learn. River was introduced in the episode Save the Bay, and he's shown to have feelings for Emma, and he's a bit arty and he's into video editing and all that, so he must have thought he had a shot with Emma, but him and Ethan have a bit of a tiff, and Ethan's like, Oliver kinda goes off Emma, and later he falls for Mia. It turns out he's from a wealthy family and his folks are famous celebrities, and he doesn't usually tell people this as it often results in fake relationships. That's how he knows the girls are all proper friends with him. So that's the 5 girls, and they appear in every episode of the show. But in the next video we'll talk about the other more common recurring characters who aren't in every episode but are nonetheless important, and we'll start with the villains. Well, I hope this is helpful for you, and even if you're a recent fan or a long-term fan of the show, you might have learned something new about the characters, and I'd love to hear if you have any other interesting facts or information about the girls or the other characters. Pop it in the comments down below and let me know. I'm not a super fan, but my kids and wife certainly are, and we've been avid viewers since 2018, so I might have missed a few things. I'm sure they'll correct me as well, but any corrections or mistakes will be highlighted in the comments in future. And if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, as I really like to get that boost of support. It means I'm doing the right thing, and if you want more content like this, then subscribe to my channel. My videos cover my mocks, money saving tips, and new LEGO set news, and all sorts of other things as well. So if that sounds interesting, then subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And whilst you're here, why not check out some of my other friends' videos, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!